Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Tallawah TV with Crystal Davis.
I think the uniqueness of the Reggae Girlz is they embody the national motto of Jamaica, which is out of many one people. So when you look at the entirety of the Jamaica squad, you have dark-skinned girls, mixed-race girls, girls who have black and Asian in them. You also have the homegrown players, so like your Bunny Shaw, your Konya Plummer, your Den Blackwood. So what that means in terms
Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Tallawah TV with Crystal Davis.
I think the uniqueness of the Reggae Girlz is they embody the national motto of Jamaica, which is out of many one people. So when you look at the entirety of the Jamaica squad, you have dark-skinned girls, mixed-race girls, girls who have black and Asian in them. You also have the homegrown players, so like your Bunny Shaw, your Konya Plummer, your Den Blackwood. So what that means in terms of from a grassroots perspective is girls who are born in Jamaica can look at a Bunny Shaw and hear that authentic accent and say, you know, if Bunny can make it, then so can I. Once you hear that authenticity, that raw Jamaican accent, they should be able to look at a Bunny Shaw who's now our captain to say, if Bunny can do it, especially if you come from the same community, the same parish as her, if she can do it, then so can we.
I want to give a big bless up to the Reggae Girlz out there. They ain't believing us. John did. Reggae Girlz, keep winning, keep inspiring. I know you're gonna be great out there. World Cup. Sadella Marley, number love. Bless up from DJ Khaled.
And I'm representing for the Reggae Girlz. You know what I mean? Big up on yourself every time. Especially if you're qualifying for the World Cup back to back. You know what I mean? Sidela, big up yourself. One love every time. You know the thing go. Blessing off a flow like a river. Blessing off a flow like a river. What the Reggae Girlz do? Left them name night earth like a queen. Me have to big up the top soccer team. You know Massacre represent. Jamaica supporting every time. You know the thing go.
See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Tallawah TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Tallawah TV with the host and best. So Davis, take it away.
Don't know what happened there, guys. Let me know if you can hear me in the comment section. I keep on having technical difficulties, as you guys are aware, since my last live stream and even the live stream before that. I'm hoping that nothing crazy happens and I can actually give you guys this live stream, because I was supposed to give it to you guys hours ago and I literally could not do what I wanted to do. So sorry about the delay. Where's my manners? Good afternoon, good evening, possibly good morning. All depends on where you're based in the world. What are we, midweek, guys? We're into our Wednesday. And we know that there is a game coming up, massive game coming up where the men's team is concerned. So that's the senior men's Reggae Boys side taking on Mexico later on. That's going to be a early Thursday morning for me. That will still be Wednesday for you guys. For our close off, I'll give you guys a gentle reminder of the timing of that match for those of you who are in Jamaica, so you can watch the big showdown. Two fierce rivals going head to head against each other against one another for a ticket in this year's final of the 2023 CONCACAF Gold Cup. So that's not what today's show is about, though. I'm hoping, like I said, that I can hang on and give you guys some all important head update. I have to say headache. it probably is a headache. I feel like my head is hurting me with all that's going on with this Reggae Girlz team and the World Cup, getting to the World Cup and everything around the team. So yeah, it does feel like a headache. But if you don't want to go ahead and read the headline, I'll go ahead and read it for you. It says Reggae Girlz touchdown in Australia ahead of FIFA Women's World Cup. So not long to go. We're definitely under 2 weeks away. From playing our first match of the tournament, and we're up against one of the heavyweights in world football, that be it France, and we're also going to be taking on another heavyweight in Brazil. Coincidentally, those two sides, when you look at it, they're actually one of the teams there. If I can count, it would be USA, England, Spain, Germany, France, Australia, Sweden, Netherlands, Canada, and Brazil. Those are the favorites for this year's Women's World Cup. So that's what a lot of the pundits are going with in terms of who they believe will lift the trophy. Will it be coming back to CONCACAF? Like I said, if the Reggae Girlz can't do it, I would prefer to see the trophy stay in the CONCACAF region for obvious reasons. I don't think I need to tell you guys why. You're smart enough to put two and two together. Good day, Fresh. Good day, Tia. What is it? Still morning time for you guys? Because it's just coming up to 4 p.m. for me. So it should still be in the morning time for you guys. So I hope you guys have done the decent thing, which is to hit the like button. I'm looking at my playback and I'm looking a little bit pixelated, so but hopefully you guys can see me clearer as this live stream goes along. So yeah, the live stream, the headline, like I said, reads for itself. Let me just try and bring you guys up to speed in terms of the squad list. You should be familiar with the squad announcement already because we have just reiterated the squad list a number of times on previous live streams, but just in case you missed it, maybe you can't see on your screen because the graphics does look a little bit small. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and read it out to you guys, and we're going to start between the sticks. And exactly what I said on previous live stream, as predicted, with regards to the three goalkeepers, so Rebecca Spencer, Sydney Schneider, Leah Brooks. In defense, we have the Swaby sisters, that being Alison Swaby, Chantal Swaby. Also have the welcome return of Konya Plummer, Denisha Blackwood, Vian Sampson, and Tierney Wiltshire. That's how our defensive selection is looking. In midfield, we have Atlanta Primus, Drew Spence, Trudy Carter, Vanna Salone, Peyton McNamara, Saleh Washington. In attack, our firepower consists of Shayna Matthews, Jodie Brown, Kayla McKenna. Some of you know her as Kayla McCoy, Kiki Van Zanten, Cameron Simmons, Khadija Shaw, Paige Bailey-Gill, Tiffany Cameron, and in reserves we have Sashana Campbell. So feel free to let me know what you guys make of the squad announcement. But more importantly, some of you probably only just tuning in, so I might have to go ahead and give you guys a little glimpse of the players. Thankfully, after all that back and forth, all that headache, I did say on my last live stream on the Reggae Girlz, that is, that there was some issues there. First, it was confirmed that there's a chartered flight. Then when I went back some days later for confirmation when the chartered flight will be leaving, I was told that the chartered flight was cancelled and that the team would be traveling to Australia in groups. And that kind of frightened some of you. I think more so the chartered flight kind of gave me my own little anxiety as thinking, what's the size of the chartered plane? Is it a normal size aircraft, or are we looking at something small that wouldn't be able to fit all 23 players and backroom staff and so on? And logistically, it just sounded like a walk-in nightmare. And so since then, things have changed for the better, thankfully, because the girls have landed in Australia. See if I can bring up some pictures for you guys. I'm gonna take myself off the screen temporarily and I'll come So yeah, guys, that's how we're looking in terms of the team landing in Australia. Thankfully, they've managed to land safely. That is a journey and a half. To put things into perspective, from London, my ticket was looking like what, 23 to 24 hours. I've seen some teams like England was like traveling for 30 plus hours just to get from England to Australia. So it's not a pleasant journey. I'm not expecting it to be a pleasant journey. A couple of the teams in our group, so that be it Brazil and also France, slightly ahead of us because they did arrive ahead of the Reggae Girlz. Brazil, for example, they've been in Australia for a little over a week. France have been there for say just over 3 days um, with the time difference in mind, right? So again, thankfully our girls have landed safely. I guess now it's about resting and trying to acclimatize themselves to their new surrounding, which is probably something that the likes of Brazil and France, more so Brazil, is slightly ahead of them. I guess it now comes down to perhaps the biology behind it all. So in terms of the science behind the importance of preparation, how what role will that play when we come to match day one, when we're taking on one of the giants in world football, that be it France. I can give you guys some like visuals of those sides there that we're expected to take on. You should know our group by now because I've repeated it on a number of live streams. So you should be well aware of who's in our group and how our group is looking. So this one you can see here with the date being July the 5th. That's when this post was taken. And obviously they're basically talking about being in the Golden Coast. Where did I get that from? Being in the Gold Coast, that be it in Australia. So this is the Brazil women's national team, and they arrived safe and sound, well ahead of us. They arrived a week in advance. The other team there that we're going to be taking on, France. They, as I said to you before, they're also in Australia, and they arrived, call it 3 days ago. She's actually putting up the number three, but that's by pure coincidence. And this one was posted July 9th. So they're firmly in Australia, just like the Reggae Girlz and also Brazil. So I think my prediction was definitely right, guys. I did say prediction wise in terms of arrivals, I was expecting, and it's literally panned out exactly that. Was expecting Panama, that's another team in our group, was expecting them to be the last of the opponents there, of our opponents to arrive in Australia. Simply because of their planning in terms of game preparation. They have a game in the pipeline against Japan, and I believe that one is going to be played on Friday. But with that particular game, that game will be played in Japan, and then obviously they just fly over to Australia. France, on the other hand, France have a game against Australia in Australia, and that will be their final game. That game is also scheduled to be played on a Friday, which would be this upcoming Friday. So same as Panama, and that will be their last games. From what I looked at with Brazil, I don't think Brazil has any more games in the pipeline, guys. I think that's pretty much it. I think they're just sitting now. Definitely would have shaken off their jet lag. Guess they're now sharpening their tools and waiting for their match day one. If I look, they're going to be taking on Panama, obviously, because in our group it is Brazil, Panama, France, and obviously Jamaica. So when I look at their schedule of Brazil. And to be fair, they've played more than enough friendlies and competitive matches leading up to the World Cup. Their last friendly came on. Let's bring this up on the screen for you so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Let's take that off the screen and bring up. Where are they? Brazil. You guys probably can't see that clearly because it doesn't look bold to me on my end. So I'm guessing it's probably the same for you guys, right? So yeah, back to what I was saying with Brazil. Their last friendly was played on July the 2nd, and that was a 4-0 victory over Chile. And if I click on it, clearly it was a friendly, like I said. And their first game, they're kicking off this year's Women's World Cup against Panama. And the big showdown with us and Brazil, that will be the last game for us in the at the group stage. It's against the Samba Warriors. So again, we go Reggae versus Samba round 2, a bit of a repeat of the 2019 Women's World Cup. Let me know which game you guys are looking forward to the most. Is it the opening game against France? So you're looking forward to take it on France. Like you could see here on your screen, that match day 1 will be France versus Jamaica. Don't pay too much of an attention to the timing and the date because obviously this is just done based off my location. So yes, the game will be played on Sunday, July the 23rd, 11 a.m. for me, but the timing will be different for you guys depending on where you're based in the world. So don't read too much into that. So let me know in the comment section which game you guys are looking forward to. I'm a little bit depleted with all of this, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm struggling to find some level of excitement. I guess it's because of all the commotion, all the background noise. It's making it a little bit gloomy to enjoy the build up to the World Cup. And I really think there's been much of a build up, not necessarily where the Reggae Girlz is concerned, but maybe about with regards to the tournament organizers. I really think that I think they could have done a better job. As I said on previous live streams, the last World Cup against not against the last World Cup in Brazil, I felt like the preparation, the promotion around the 2019 Women's World Cup was much better than this year's World Cup. Of course, it's going to be co-hosted by New Zealand and also Australia as well. But I think the preparation, the hype just isn't there. The build-up just feels a bit dull. Maybe it's because it's all the way down under. I don't know what it's like on home soil for the people in New Zealand or in Australia. Maybe they can feel some sort of vibration, or maybe it might be similar to what we saw with the men's World Cup, where I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't really much of a fan of a Winter World Cup. But once the tournament started and how the tournament got underway with Saudi Arabia pulling off a shock victory, I think that kind of like build up the momentum. So maybe it will be more of the same. And yeah, as I said on my previous live stream, we are expected to play a friendly. I've not heard anything about that game against Morocco changing, but oh Lord, we're run by incompetence. So I would like to say that game's will be given the green light, that it is still expected to go ahead. Let's see if I can bring that up on the screen so you guys can see it with me. I'm hoping and praying that game goes ahead. I've not been told otherwise, but what I was told is that it will be played behind closed doors. So basically a practice match, which is good enough for me. It's better than nothing. So this one here, the date that we're looking at is this coming Sunday. Kickoff time is 9:30 a.m. And that is 9:30 a.m. for me, UK time. So I'm 6 hours ahead of you guys if you're in Jamaica. So go ahead and do the math. And that is how we're looking. And that one does really need to go ahead because, as I said to you guys previously, what our last game that I can think of in terms of match that was played within the international window came all the way back in April. That was all the way back in April, and we played against Sheffield United at the King Power Stadium. And since then, it's just been quiet. Yes, we've had a few camps here and there, camp in Jamaica, camp in Amsterdam. Good for team bonding, good for building up your fitness and making sure that the players stay in great shape. But ideally, you want to make sure that they are also match fit as well. And I don't doubt that. I'm sure that the girls, when the day does arrive and match day one does arrive and we're set to take on France, that they will give a good account of themselves. So if you're just tuning in, the positive around all this negativity with the team is that finally the girls have landed in Australia safe and sound. And yeah, just ready to kick on. If you guys are just tuning into the live stream, please do go ahead and hit the like button. And yeah, let me know your predictions. Let me know how you feel about the World Cup. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't feel that upbeat. Kind of just feel like really just down. Not really sure what to expect. I don't doubt the players' ability to go out there and give a good account of themselves. Funny enough, with all the outside noise and all of the uncertainty, even with getting to the World Cup, traveling to the World Cup, the headache of getting flights booked to take the girls down under. The odd thing about all of that is it over the years you've seen that this team seems to play at its best when their back is against the wall, but I kind of feel like that's probably losing a bit of steam, or I'm expecting that eventually that will just lose its steam in the long run. And so with that, I'm kind of sat here and I'm wondering, like, when is enough, or when will enough be enough? Kind of feel like, yes, they are human beings just like you and I, and with that, everyone has a breaking point. That's not to say that the team is breakable. I think the girls as individuals and as a collective, and the team around the girls, so like the reggae sorry the Mali Foundation and Sidela Mali won't necessarily allow the team to be broken, but I still just think that there's a point where you say to yourself, enough is enough. And we've seen since the last Women's World Cup. Maybe back then it wasn't as potent, it wasn't as obvious that there is a tug of war going on between the team around the team. And obviously, with this Women's World Cup that we're faced with, is quite clear as daylight that there's a tug of war between the JFF and Sidela Mali. And I've always said that it's such a shame, because that in itself is so mentally exhausting that it's not even something that I want to dive into. But the ones that I do feel sorry for is the girls, because it's almost like they're in like a drive-by, like they're just innocently playing outside and there's a drive-by and they're being hit by stray bullets, or better yet, they're at home in the comfort of their own home and they're being hit by stray bullets. That's not meant for them. It's clearly meant for one person, but they're clearly feeling the impact of people's childish and unprofessional ways. So yeah, that's why I'm starting to think that it's not these issues that surrounding the team. It's not uncommon. Obviously, I don't want to sit here and talk about it. I would much rather be positive, but yeah, it's hardly positive, is it? And sometimes you just have to kind of address the elephant in the room, and that's why I'm just giving you guys my opinions, my thoughts, and how I'm starting to feel about what could be. Like I said, when is enough enough? Because everybody has reach a point in their life where they're just like, look, I'm not gonna go through this no more, and things must change. And we've seen that coincidentally with one of the teams in our group. We've seen that with France. I think it was back in February, might be late February, when you had Renard, Wendy Renard. She came out and she basically said that she was just packing it in, and a few of her other teammates joined forces with her and stood side by side with her and just said, yeah, we're not going to be playing for the French national team no more. And obviously they had issues with their then coach, who was dismissed. I think she was dismissed in like less than 24 hours. And obviously, we know that the skipper is in Australia. Things seem to have been resolved behind the scenes. And so that's what's been like being on my mind, being in the back of my mind. I'm like, are we going to see something similar with the Reggae Girlz? If you've been following my channel, you should know that I've always been one to beat the drum of where well-being is concerned. And I just can't help to think, I've always said to you guys that, you know, as the 12th man, we need to remember that yes, it's a sport, yes, it's a game that's being played, but essentially this is the players 9 to 5. And unlike way back then where you could look at football that was played maybe 2 decades ago, where players didn't know better. Nowadays these players, they do know better. The likes of your Drew Spence. Drew Spence is probably the perfect example because she's a veteran of the game. She played for Chelsea women's team for over a decade of loyal service to Chelsea, a successful women's football club. So she's been around what professionalism looks and feels like. And obviously even these girls, when they were girls, they're now women, when they were young girls at college or university, they know they've experienced professionalism at its best. Same goes for our captain playing for Manchester City in top flight of women's football in England. She knows what professionalism looks like. So I'm starting to wonder, like, why would anyone want to experience, knowing that you've experienced professionalism at its highest form or in its highest form, either for your college or university team or your professional clubs, your respective clubs, why would you then be okay with mediocrity and headache and just playing for a federation that just has zero respect for you? And that's what I'm saying, like, at what point are we going to see these girls say enough is enough? Obviously, in a selfish ideal world, you don't really want to hear of no one saying that they're not going to play, or no one calling for a retirement, a bit like what we saw like on screen here, where Wendy Renard is concerned when she made the decision that she wasn't going to play at this year's Women's World Cup. Obviously things have changed since then and she will be playing, but yeah, it's just some things that I've been considering, like thinking, is that going to happen to one of our girls, one of the marquee or the pillars within our team, or is it going to be the team acting as a collective? Usually when we're faced with difficult situations, they usually move as one anyways. But yeah, just focusing on what Wendy said back then. And like I said, this one I think came back in the latter stage of February this year. And basically when she made the announcement, it was like a social media announcement. She said then she said, I have defended the blue, white and red shirt in 144 times with passion, respect, commitment, and professionalism. I love France more than anything else. I am not perfect, far from it, but I can no longer support the system, which is far from the requirements of the highest level. It is a sad day, but necessary to preserve my mental health. And that's why I'm saying, linking it back to the Reggae Girlz, like it just seems so toxic from someone, and I'm referring to myself, like as the 12th man, being part of the 12th man, someone who's so distant from the team. Like everything just seems like mentally draining. And yeah, I think that's probably made me look at this Women's World Cup slightly different. Again, tailor that with the promotion of the tournament. It just feels dead and lifeless. Nothing to do with the team itself. It's probably the organizers of the tournament. I don't really think they've done a great job in that regard, with the greatest of respect to them. But yeah, I feel like we're heading in a direction that is just dark and gloomy, with maybe some question marks and some uncertainty. The only real positive that I can take from the Reggae Girlz current situation, the tug of war between the federation and Sadella Marley, is that, as I said to you guys before, this team does seem to play at its best when their back is against the wall. And to be honest with you, I don't recall them having to play without their back being against the wall. So for them, it's probably just normality, which kind of sucks when you put certain things into perspectives. So yeah, big up you guys in the chat. I hope you guys have touched the like button. If you haven't done so, I'm not really sure what you're waiting on. Tyrone, Hot Chili, good day to yourselves. Reggae Boys Platform TV. I feel like this is a new one to me, but yeah, good afternoon. I hope you're well. Mr. Warren Webster, good day to yourself, Mr. Webster. So yeah, guys, the headline reads for itself. As I've said, Reggae Girlz have touched down in Australia ahead of this year's FIFA Women's World Cup. Some mouth-watering clashes taking place in under 2 weeks' time. We're going to be taking on two of the giants in women's football, two of the favorites to go on to lifting the trophy alongside the likes of your reigning champions, the United States, the current queens of European, the Euros cup holders, that be it England. You also got Spain and Germany up there as well. And within that pack, a couple of the tournament favorites happen to be Brazil and France. So but I'm not really concerned about going up against the heavyweights, because it is the World Cup, so you're expected to be playing the best of the best anyways. So that don't really bother me. The only thing that feels like a bit of a concern is just all the drama and all of the nonsense that surrounds the team. That's the only thing that's weighing me down as somebody who follows the team, not just when they're playing for our country, but also when they're playing for their respective clubs. It just feels so gloomy and uninspiring right now, guys. But hopefully the team isn't feeling like how I'm feeling. Because if they are, then things aren't looking pretty. Warren says, too bad we never get more warm-up matches. Says he's vexed about that. I think we're all upset about that. But what can you do? We knew from the latter stage of last year that we were, as I said back then, back in October, when we didn't have fixtures in the October window when our opponents did, that realistically speaking, so early into our closing off the latter stage of our preparation for 2022, that we were two less games prepared than our opponents, and that was in October. And you could say that, yes, we have qualified for a second World Cup on the bounce. That's great. Some would say that we always knew that we would do it. Third best team in CONCACAF based off performance and ranking and individuality, collective play, and so on. But even after that bit of celebration, you still need more. So you still need to add to what you've got. You always hear the skipper, the captain, Bunny, talk about the importance of preparation. And she's not the only one that speaks about it, but let's use her as an example because she is the captain. You always hear her talk about preparation. But you've also heard her touch on different things this week. I don't know if I can find it. She's become more vocal recently. I think we saw that at the start of the year. The most vocal I think she's been with regards to doing what a captain is expected to do, I think came early this year, where she spoke about the issues with our luggages, right? I'm not sure if you guys remember that. And just to polish over what happened, to run you guys through what happened. She spoke on, it was an Instagram post where she basically, you could clearly see that she was fed up because she was talking about having to pay for her teammates' luggages. I think that they wanted to, if I'm not mistaken, I think they were, where were they traveling from? I think they were traveling from the States to Mexico, something along those lines. They were traveling from the States to Mexico, and JFF, being JFF, hadn't paid for their what do you call it? Hadn't paid for their travel, so their luggages, and yeah, team luggages were at in jeopardy of not being placed on the plane, and it was just a complete nightmare. I think it was to go to Mexico because it was the championship, the CONCACAF Women's Championship, which is basically the final stint of qualifying for this year's Women's World Cup. You already know the outcome of that because they went on to qualifying, obviously, and that's how they got to poach their ticket to the World Cup down under. They played against Mexico, the United States, and our dear friends, the Caribbean rivals, it being Haiti. That was one of my favorite games because boy, the Haitian fans they're up for it, and rightly so. Good day, Mr. McGregor. How are you? Baller kick. I'm just here frustrated with all the nonsense that surrounds the team, but still trying to be in high spirits. Could you give us the roster again if you already done so? Happy to give you the roster. So yeah, it's just so much that happened. So yeah, like I said to you guys, I'm trying to find what Bunny said because that was the first time that I really can remember Bunny being vocal. Can't remember what she said. I would paraphrase what she said this time round, but I'm not going to attempt to do that because honestly I can't remember what she said, which is why here it is. She said time and time again. She posted a picture with basically she's hugging Sedella Marley, who wouldn't. And she said time and time again, even after achievements for our country, we are still fighting battles as if we haven't achieved anything. Special shout out to the savior of our team. She said, you chose not to give up on us despite all the disrespect you have received for literally only wanting the best for your girls. And basically, she just rounded off by saying, next up, Australia. She also echoed her support of towards Sedella Marley and just letting people know that she's willing to go to war for I'm sure not just Sedella Marley, her team, the Bob Marley Foundation. Basically, it's loyalty on display from the captain. So those are the two most potent moments that I can remember from Bunny, where she's been vocal. And yeah, it just goes back to what I was saying. When is enough enough? I don't know when that's going to be. I don't think we're going to see it for this tournament. I think they just want to get on with it. They just want to play, get the job done. Remember, guys, after the World Cup, after we play the World Cup, we also have the Olympic qualifiers coming up in September, where we're going to be taking on the current Olympic gold medalist, Canada. So there's a home fixture in the pipeline for the 18th of September. And then the 27th of September, we're expected to play them in almost like the return leg. So after Brazil, depending on what happens in the group stage, whether we qualify to the knockout round, that remains to be seen. But most certainly, we're at least expecting to see the Reggae Girlz take on Canada in our Olympic qualifiers. And then after that, who knows what's going to happen? I don't know if we're going to see the girls make a decision similar to what you can see in front of you, where they've just said enough is enough and they want to preserve their mental mental health or well-being, whichever one you want to call it, whichever way you want to look at it. And it wouldn't be the first time. We've seen it with numerous women's football team and successful women's football team who belong to economically developed countries. So it wouldn't be a surprise. But yeah, that's something that I am, like I said, concerned about. I feel like it could happen. Whether it will happen, that remains to be seen. But I don't think we're going to see anything like that for the World Cup. I think that they're just going to go out there, represent themselves, their family, and their nation to the best of their ability. What then happens after that Olympic qualifiers? Only Lord knows what could be in store. But yeah, I just feel like things are a little bit rocky right now. It's not feeling good. I'm not feeling good. Let me not try and speak for the team because I don't have no contact to the team. I'm just speaking on how I feel. I could easily just come here and give you guys the update. It would take me 5 minutes to say, oh, by the way, the girls have landed in Australia and see you later. But I just want you guys to know how I feel. I also want you guys to know what's happening with the other teams in our group, so that be it France, Panama, and Brazil as well. So hence the long discussion. I could easily just close this one off. But yeah, I want to let you guys know how I'm feeling because it's I can't sit in front of this screen and pretend as if all is well. I don't really have the energy for that, guys, and it does take energy to give you guys these live streams. First, I have to do my preparation in terms of going over my notes and then finding an appropriate time for you guys, not even me, an appropriate time for you guys where you're going to be able to click on the live stream and tune in. Okay, so Warren, I think it was Warren that asked for the team selection, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to close off in less than 5 minutes time. I'm going to be back here. I'm hoping that I'll be back here later on to give you guys a live watch along of the the Mexico game. We're taking on our fierce rivals, Mexico, in a semifinal of the CONCACAF 2023 Gold Cup. Good afternoon, Danica. I hope you're all right. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna read out the 23 woman squad because Warren has requested it and he's one of my loyal subscribers. So if he wants something, I've got to cater to his needs, basically. And we're starting things off from the back between the sticks. So that is Rebecca Spencer, Sydney Schneider, Leah Brooks. In defense, we have Alison Swaby, Chantal Swaby, Kanya Plummer, then Blackwood, Vian Sampson, Tierney Wiltshire. In midfield, we have Atlanta Primus, Drew Spence, Trudy Carter, Havana Salone, Peyton McNamara, Slade Washington. And with the firepower, we have Shayna Matthews, Jodie Brown, Kayla McKenna, or if you want to refer to her as Kayla McCoy, still the same person, Kiki Van Zanten, Cameron Simmons, Khadija Shaw, that's the skipper, guys, Paige Bailey Gale, Tiffany Cameron, and also in reserves we have Sashana Campbell. You would have noticed that there is the welcome return of our then captain. She did captain the side at the 2019 Women's World Cup, that be it Kanya Plummer. Slightly different role this time round, but yeah, the captaincy, the leaders in the group have gone up a notch, with her making her return to the squad. Sure, with her experience, I don't know, maybe her and Bunny will have a chat at some point about what it means. Not necessarily what it means, but that pressure. There is pressure there. I think when you're wearing the captain's armband in any given game. Worse so when you're at a World Cup. Our first match at with our debut World Cup appearance in 2019 was against Brazil, so samba versus reggae, and it was Konya that was done in the captain's armband. Then, sure, it was a proud moment for her, but I think beneath the surface there was pressure there. Bunny maybe more of the same. I'm sure they know how to manage pressure, but who knows? They probably have a little conversation with each other, and what it will feel like to walk through those tunnels, with the national anthem being played in the background, knowing that you're on sports' biggest stage. I think the World Cup, the football World Cup, that is sports' biggest competition. I don't think there's anything that comes close to it. So yeah. I'm sure they'll have. I'm not sure actually. Let me not saying that. I'm not sure at all. But yeah, maybe they'll have a little conversation between each other. And yeah, um, Warren says, big up, Plumber. We are thankful for the info. Oh, you're welcome. You are more than welcome. Thanks for I like the appreciation, guys. I can't lie to you. Not to go off topic, what's your thoughts on Zambia? Big win. You missed this baller kick. What's my thoughts? Oh my god, it is incredible. I mean, Barbara is just, she's different gravy. I feel like she's not gonna be in China much longer. Selfishly, I would love to see her come to the WSL, top flight of women's football in England. And weirdly enough, I kind of feel like that's who United should be looking at, given that they've allowed the marquee signings to leave them, the biggest being Russell. They've allowed them to join Arsenal on a free when you could have sold her for a price, not once but twice. I think they should be looking at her. That would be a incredible recruitment for Manchester United. But I don't know how serious, man, you are when it comes to wanting better for themselves. It's so funny that you can probably say that for their men's team, and probably argument there for their women's team as well. But yeah, I mean, she scored a brace against the German giants. Germany, they were the sorry guys, they were part of the finalists at the women's Euros, alongside England, and we know that England went on to be victorious, triumphant around over one of their biggest rivals, if not their biggest rivals, both in the men's and women's side of the game, and they completely just put them to one side. I think, if memory serves me well, Germany, I believe, are ranked second in the world. Remember, serve me well, Germany are ranked second in the world. Let me just go ahead and double check that. And then obviously, in front of them would be the United States, and Zambia in the 77th position. So you can look at the gap in terms of FIFA ranking, and they took the game to Germany. They basically forced Germany to react, and Germany scored in the latter stage. They really needed to score in the latter stage, to be honest with you, and they did do so. But it was a friendly. Zambia made sure that they were going home or going to the World Cup with something to smile about. And even them, they have their own issues being played out in the background with their coach, and there's some allegations there, and I went over the allegations. You can watch my last live stream on the Reggae Girlz to find out about the allegations. So it's bittersweet moments, I think, for Zambia. They're doing the job on the field of play, but even off the field of play, there's a lot going on there, it seems, in the background where their coach is concerned, and so on. So yeah, like I said, Germany, they're in second place, and they really just got their asses handed to them by Zambia. And I loved it. I loved each and every moment of that game. Jamaica is there in the 43rd position of the FIFA ranking, just in case you guys are wondering. I'm trying to bring up Zambia for you guys so you can see the gap between Zambia. There you go. They're in the 77th position. That's the gap between them and Germany. If you haven't watched that game yet, like I said, please do go and watch it. It's probably like maybe take 5 minutes of your time. So go ahead and give it a watch. Warren Webster said back-to-back World Cup. It is impressive, but you can't avoid the elephant in the room, right, Warren? It is largely impressive, especially given the circumstances in which these girls are operating under, and so on. Mr. United, good day to yourself. I think Plumber, the fitness is there. I think she is fit. I think that's probably why the reason that even makes sense. I think that's the reason why the coach called her up. I mean, hats off to Plummer and also Matthews as well. They gave birth last year, and I think their kid is like they're close in age, and to turn that around, given the strain that pregnancy would have had. And I can't speak for these women, but assuming what we all know of pregnancy and what it does to the body, the strain that would have had on their bodies, and to make a turnaround, make a comeback, they look to be in good shape. So hats off to both of them. I'm sure that wasn't easy. If there was any weight gain there, I'm sure they would have shredded the baby fats, would have shredded the baby weight. So yeah, I think that she's fit in that regard. Can you please tell the English media? No, I why not? Underestimate them. Can only come back to, unless you're in support of England, Danica. But if I had the power to reach out to the Lionesses, I wouldn't want them. I'm not gonna lie to you. I told you before, if that trophy, if that World Cup can't come to Jamaica, then keep it in CONCACAF. That's the region that it belongs in. That's our region. I wouldn't want to see it in Europe. I have no reason to want it to go to Europe. Let it stay in CONCACAF. And it is hilarious that you're allowing a country that refers to the beautiful game as soccer. You're not even allowing them. They are just dominate women's football at the highest level, and they're the ones who are the current reigning champions. And they might just go ahead and just keep that trophy again. So who knows? But I'm not going to be warning no one. Guys, if you're just tuning into the live stream, please have some decorum. Go ahead and hit that like button for me. I am having some technical difficulties, but I'm happy that I've managed to drag myself over the line and give you guys the live stream that I wanted to touch on, which I should actually say, good day, Philip. Actually, I've managed to give you guys the info that I wanted to give to you, which is more importantly, after all that drama, commotion, there's probably so much nonsense going on in the background that we're not aware of, because these things just seem like they're not going nowhere. It's like a bad air that is just impossible to get rid of. So I'm sure there's loads of nonsense going on in the background. But on a positive note, the Reggae Girlz have touched down in Australia ahead of FIFA Women's World Cup. Danica is saying, I don't like the disrespect I'm hearing about Haiti being 13-0. I can't see Haiti losing 13-0. So, um, I don't think that comes from, I'm not really sure who in the British media said that, but they don't sound like they have half a brain cell, or they don't sound like they respect women's football at all. Because if you did respect women's football, surely you'd have done your homework and look at Haiti, look at what they had to do to qualify for the World Cup, look at their players as individuals, who do they play for, with their respective clubs and so on. But even when we were playing them, I wasn't looking and thinking, yeah, we're going to completely destroy them. You got to give your opponents respect at the end of the day. And if you're complacent, which I don't think the Lionesses will be, I don't think they're going to be complacent against their opponents. But if they were to listen to the media, which again I don't think they're going to do such thing, then it might just come back to haunt them. But that's just typical. That's just typical from the British media. That's just their usual antics. That's their usual behavior. And as I said, that's probably coming from someone who don't have half a brain cell when it comes to women's football. Probably just in a privileged position, in the sense that they're just fortunate to be on a platform where we have to innocently sit and listen to their nonsense, because we have no choice other than to turn the volume down or maybe turn off the TV. But they're in a privileged position where they probably got there because they know someone who knows someone, as opposed to having to work to be in said privileged position. So, well, yeah, look at it, Danica. You don't have to listen to them. If you're watching them on TV, you can turn off the TV. If you're reading the article, you can just stop reading the article. That's what I do when I come across nonsense. I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested in this, so I just switch off. The Haitians has a good young team and will surprise a lot of people. Yeah, I much prefer if people underestimate what they call it, the underdogs. I think Jamaica have made a name for ourselves, so I don't necessarily think that people look at us as underdogs. Yes, you will have teams that we come up against who are superior to us, but I don't necessarily think that they're looking at Jamaica as underdogs. I mean, at the last Women's World Cup, we had a lot of praises for our players, individual players at that. There was so much that was being said about Sydney Schneider. If your memory serves you well, Hope Solo was ringing her praises. Usain Bolt was giving her flowers. So many high-profile sporting legends were taking note of this Jamaica team, and they're one of the youngest team at the last Women's World Cup. So I think we got the respect from various angles. Might not have been respected by those who should be overseeing us, which is not something that I'm even going to touch on. But I think for people who are just lovers of the beautiful game, we've got the respect that we deserve. And for Haiti, it might just be the same. They're probably going to pick up some new fans on along the way. People who not necessarily have Haitian roots, but just love football and probably become attracted to what Haiti has to offer. My teams that I'm obviously wanting to do well is obviously the Black, Gold, and Green, that be it the Reggae Girlz, Zambia, Nigeria, Haiti. I would love to see those nations do well for themselves. And I don't think you guys need me to go in depth as to why I want them to do well. Philip Beckford says sometimes the English media is too confident of themselves, players, and their chances, and it does show their arrogance at times, which is somewhat typical of them. Yeah, there's arguments for that. People have it to say that not the Australia, the USA national team is arrogant, but I don't think that they are. I don't know, maybe you guys disagree with me, but even if they are arrogant, like, I kind of like it. I like the piss taking that comes with this American side. I remember when they played against England, and they who was it? Was it Morgan? I feel like it was Morgan that did the tea celebration, and I was thinking you're taking the absolute piss, and I love it. Obviously the Lionesses fans were fuming; they hated it. And I think she actually did the same thing in a promo video, like a USA promo, basically them defending the crown. They released that video some weeks ago, and they did like the tea celebration. One of the players, I'm sure, did a tea celebration, and I was just like, you're taking the piss, but I like it. It's humor. It's what you expect from American athletes anyways. You probably don't see it more so in football, but you see it more certainly in athletics. Like, they do believe in themselves. It's not just hype. They are as good as they say they are, and they let their footballer, whether it's their track and field, they let it do the talking a lot of the time. So I don't think it's necessarily arrogance. I see people claim it to be arrogance, but I don't think it's arrogant. I just think that's their swagger. That's just them. They believe in their own hype, and oftentimes they prove why they believe in themselves. They prove why they carry themselves in a certain way. So yeah. The English media, however, they're odd. Mr. Miller, good day to yourself. How are you? Danica says, did you hear that the Nigerian boycott the first game? Yeah, there's all these issues. I don't think they're going to boycott it though, because that would be a hell of a story. I think that's just them trying to see um whether the federation would actually react to their decision. I saw one of the players said that with regards to what you're saying, that it's basically nonsense, that they don't plan on doing that. And yeah, I don't actually think they're gonna go through with this. What you gotta understand as well is I'm expecting players and teams to say certain things, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, you're not going to go through with it. That's not me saying that they're cowards. They're not cowards, but for a lot of these players, especially the experienced players, this could be their final dance. And even for a player as well, because tomorrow isn't promised, anything can happen. All it takes is one bad injury, and that's it. Your career comes to an end. And you've worked your asses off from you as a little girl all the way through to teenage years. Now you're looking at adulthood for a lot of these young women, and the last thing you would want to do is not play at a World Cup. I think that will have to be the final straw where they say, you know what? Yes, we've gone through multiple trials and tribulations to get here, but we're standing firm and not playing. I don't know. I can't see it happening. That's not to say it won't happen. But I think when you look at the sacrifices that one has to make, be it as an individual or as a collective, it's going to take something for players to decide that they're not playing at a World Cup. But we'll see. I'm familiar with what you've stated, but I also saw that one of the players came out on the back end of this and basically said, no, it's not true. So we'll see. Yeah, guys, go ahead and hit the like button. I've gone over an hour. There was no intent to keep the stream so long. I actually wanted 30 minutes, but I've gone over. Am I? Because I look pixelated on my screen. So thank you. I'm looking really pixelated. So if you're telling me otherwise, then I'm gonna believe you. I'm going to believe you. That's good. But I'll give myself maybe 2 more minutes, guys, and then I'm gonna close off because I don't really have much to say. World Cup. Quitty. I saw that article yesterday and it highlights Jamaica, South Africa, Haiti, talks about the struggles. Yeah, so much going on, Jermaine. But it's funny that you've highlighted these countries. But it's not just them. So it's not just the lower economically developed countries that have issues. It's the larger countries as well, the more economically developed countries. So the likes of your France, your Spain, and your England, even they are having to tussle with their federation. But it just comes down at the end of the day, what we have to just realize is Not that it's right, but we just have to bear in mind that these federations that we speak of, they're oftentimes they're run by the old boys club. So it's just, what that means in animal terms is you're basically, you have federations that's being run by dinosaurs, so people with outdated mindsets that couldn't care less for women, sexist, ageist, homophobic. They have no time for women to be kicking a ball about on any given day. So they don't care about women. Some of them probably despise women, especially when they look at a player and think that she's not as feminine as she should be. So they have their own mindset, their own individual stained, outdated mindset across the board of so many different federations. But like I said, it comes down to these girls being not forced, but playing under systems that is well outdated. And that's the reason why we're seeing issues all across the board, where Jamaica, England, France, Spain, and Nigeria, and now you're saying South Africa, Haiti. That's the reason why the issue is so widespread. The JFF definitely wagging their tails when they see the news of a better position, and might be saying to himself, it's not, yeah, I think they're dumb enough to say that it's not us alone, but it doesn't take away the fact that just because one's doing bad doesn't mean that you should also follow up and do the same. If anything, you should want to be different. You should want to show up the likes of the English FA, the Spanish FA, the French Federation. You should want to do better than them, because one thing that people always give Jamaica credit for is we punch above our weights, and we tend to do things differently where sport is concerned. We don't usually follow traditions that you see in more equally economically developed countries. As they say, look about with Tallawah, we do things differently. So if anything, they should actually want to show up these other federations, but how much do they care? Are they any, the makeup of the Jamaica Football Federation, when you look at it from an outsider looking on, and you're just looking at what these men look like, do they look any difference to what you see with the English FA? The only striking obvious difference there should be the skin color, their skin color. But besides that, it's more or less the same. Yeah, one's probably black, the other is probably white, but the overall makeup and mindset remains the same, because like I said, it is about the old boys club. And once you have the old boys club, it's like you're facing a losing battle, because it is what it is. And they don't they some of them believe that girls should be in frocks and dresses, not shouldn't be wearing football shorts and shin pads and football boots. They believe you should be like, I don't know, nurses or lawyers or anything but footballers. Please keep the fight. Your voice is so important. I will try, Jermaine. I'm trying. Believe me, trust me. I'm trying. Sometimes I'm just like, I cannot be asked, because it's so taxing. It's so mentally taxing. But that's why I say to myself, like, how are these girls doing it? Because I'm hanging on for dear life. I'm always going to give you guys content, but there will be times where it just sounds toxic, that's because I just have to address the elephant in the room. It's taking up my time. I've already been here for over an hour, and I can't sit here and just focus on the positives. I can't just sit here and give you guys the positives, because that's just not me. So thank you for being appreciative of the content, and I'll continue to do my best to share my opinions with you guys. But the only thing they should remind us of is that as long as they slack off, we ain't letting them off the hook. We need better, and the girls deserve better treatment. You said it beautifully well there. I could not have said it any better. The only real vloggers that give Jamaica awareness of the female. Oh wow. Thank you. Oh gosh, you've made my day. I think that is about it, guys. I must have touched on everything that I wanted to touch on with you guys. I don't think I have anything left to say. I'm gonna have to love you and leave you shortly. I'm gonna try and prepare something to eat for dinner, and then I'm gonna sit down and do my notes for the game later on. What I can do is give you guys a little look into where is it? So that's how we're looking there, guys. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Here we have the Morocco game that's scheduled for Sunday. Ignore the time. It says 9:30 a.m., but that's because I'm in the UK. So if you're in Jamaica, you're 6 hours behind me. So do the math. And then the big showdown starts where we're up against one of the giants in women's football, and that be it France. France are slightly ahead of us in terms of the acclimatization and the biology behind it all. They landed like, call it 3 to 4 days ago. Another one of our opponents, Brazil, landed over a week ago. Um, and yeah, this is how we're looking. Match day one, we're going to be taking on the French. I'm excited for that game. Match day two sees us taking on Panama. And then match day three, it really is. If this one don't get you excited in terms of football, then nothing will. It is samba and reggae. It is reggae versus samba. This will be our final match in the group stage, and be interesting to see if we can climb out and shock some people. Looking forward to our first win. Who is that going to come against? Let me know in the comment section. Big up yourself, RR. I hope you guys have touched the like button, by the way. If they were trying way harder to get the girls comfortable at this point, we could have sympathized a bit, but not for Jay. Now, JFF are not trying at all. At all, they are not. They are not trying. But one thing for certain, the 12th man isn't going anywhere. The 12th man being us, we're always going to support our girls. So we ain't going nowhere. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning into my live stream. I've pretty much covered everything until later on. I'm gonna come back later on to talk to you guys. And obviously I'm going to be giving you more and more Women's World Cup content because it's almost upon us. More importantly, the girls have landed safely in Australia. Finally, after being what looked like it was never going to happen, guys. Looked like they were never going to get on their skates. But thankfully, as ever, Stella Marley came to their rescue and they're right where they need to be for the time being. Looking forward to later. Time is ideal, so I will join earlier. So thanks for the update on the girls, keeping us in the loop and well informed. You're a gem. Continue blazing the trail. You are more than welcome, and thank you guys for your show of appreciation. You guys do definitely make these live streams worthwhile because it does get taxing on my time. So thank you guys for your show of appreciation. And I'm going to see you guys here later on. And this is why we're going to be back. If I could bring this one up on the screen for you. We have a big showdown against one of our fiercest rivals in football. What one do you guys enjoy more, taking on Mexico or taking on the United States? This one says tomorrow because this game's actually played at Thursday, 3 a.m. So I'm gonna have to try and find time to sleep between now and I will have to be up at 12 o'clock, no later than 12 o'clock. And it's the semifinal of the CONCACAF um, Gold Cup for 2023. And we're up against a team that's been there, done that in Mexico. A ticket to the final awaits. and things are looking quite interesting. I think this is the first time where maybe across the board there is optimism there. Not I think you can say yes, some maybe be cautiously optimistic, but I think the majority of the fans are being optimistic with how this one could pan out. And then obviously the another game that will take place ahead of our match is the current reigning champions USA taking on Panama. Both sides looking to poach a ticket to the final, and this is the date for the final. This should be played on a Sunday, but at the top it says Monday the 17th. Again, this is purely based off my location, so the final will be on the 16th of Sunday. That is how we are looking. So more football for you later on. I'm hoping to give you guys a live watch along, so do keep your eyes peeled on my channel for that. I'm glad I found this channel. Welcome. I hope you've subscribed. Hope you've hit the subscribe button. And I hope you've hit the like button for today's live stream as well. And yes, guys, I've said this a number of times, but I have really and truly reached the end of my live stream. I will be seeing you guys later on again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is give you guys I'm going to remove myself from the screen shortly, and I'm going to leave you with some visuals, some videos there, and some pictures of the Reggae Girlz arriving in Australia, safe and sound. Thank God. And then after that, you know how it goes. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do hit the subscribe button. If you haven't hit the like button, please do go ahead and do so. It doesn't cost you a penny. If you're out and about, I hope that you make it home safe and sound. If you're at work, hope you have a pleasant shift. And you know how it goes. Until next time, take care.
I want to give a big bless up to the Reggae Girlz out there. They ain't believe in us. John did. Reggae Girlz, keep winning, keep inspiring. I know you're going to be great out there, World Cup. Sadella Marley, nothing but love. Bless up from DJ Khaled.
And I represent for the Reggae Girlz. You know what I mean? Big up on yourself every time. Especially if you're qualifying for the World Cup back to back. You know what I mean? Sidela, big up yourself. One love every time. You know the thing go. Blessing off a flow like a river. Blessing off a flow like a river. What the Reggae Girlz do? Left them name night earth like a queen. Me have to big up the top soccer team. You know Massacre represent. Jamaica support you every time. You know the thing go.
Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Tallawah TV with Crystal Davis.
I think the uniqueness of the Reggae Girlz is they embody the national motto of Jamaica, which is out of many one people. So when you look at the entirety of the Jamaica squad, you have dark-skinned girls, mixed-race girls, girls who have black and Asian in them. You also have the homegrown players, so like your Bunny Shaw, your Konya Plummer, your Den Blackwood. So what that means in terms of from a grassroots perspective is girls who are born in Jamaica can look at a Bunny Shaw and hear that authentic accent and say, you know, if Bunny can make it, then so can I. Once you hear that authenticity, that raw Jamaican accent, they should be able to look at a Bunny Shaw who's now our captain to say, if Bunny can do it, especially if you come from the same community, the same parish as her, if she can do it, then so can we.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Tallawah TV with Crystal Davis.